right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this episode today. I'm excited about this one. In the last few episodes, I've been talking about some practical things that you can do. That's really not what this episode is about. It's a bit more psychological. It's a bit more conceptual. It's hopefully going to help you with the mindset that it takes to buy a house in this market. So if you're a first-time home buyer or you're looking in the price range that many other people are looking in, you likely feel discouraged. A lot of people are getting outbid. A lot of people have submitted multiple offers and still haven't found the home that they're looking for. I just saw a fellow realtor make a post the other day. He had submitted an offer for his clients, and the listing agent and seller responded saying, "Hey, thank you for your offer. We have received 25 other competitive offers and have decided to go with another route." So that's the point that we're in. That's the state of the market. So what does that look like in other ways? If you're a first-time home buyer, right, maybe you've just saved up enough to make the minimum down payment to go buy a house. You've worked really hard to get to this position. And you're facing people, you're going up against, you're competing against people who are possibly in a better financial position. For example, some people in the older generation who are looking to downsize have an advantage. Maybe they have more cash at hand. Maybe they have more equity in the house. Maybe they're able to buy before they sell their home. Maybe they're able to go above and beyond asking price when you might not be able to do any of those things. That's a struggle. But here's what I want to remind you. These same challenges that you're facing now, these same disadvantages that you feel that you have against your other competitors are going to be the same benefits, the same advantages that you experience when you own your own home and start building wealth. So all it takes is to get you into that home. So in this episode, I want to prove that to you. I want to show you why you're going to be in a good position down the road, why you're going to be able to build wealth by finding a home and building equity. We're going to talk about the benefits of that. So let's get right into this episode. My first point here, I've said it before, but I think it's just so great, and I think about it probably more often than I should. It's just about building equity in your home. Right? If you're paying rent right now, if you're like me, it makes me sick to my stomach. Even though I like the place that we're staying at, it's I know it's just going to somebody else. I'm paying somebody else's mortgage. So when you start paying for your own mortgage, you're building wealth, you're building equity, you're building ownership in your house. It's not just covering the cost of living, right? This is an investment into your future. This is going to pay off down the road when you go to retire, when you go to downsize, when you want to buy the next home, the next step up, when you want to upgrade. It's going to be an easier process for you because you've been feeding into this. You've been building wealth. And ultimately, I just think that's a game changer. So that's huge. So that's my first point. Now, let's talk about the second point. And it's very, very relevant for what we've seen in the last few years. The appreciation potential of buying a home. Real estate has a historical track of appreciating over time. And we've seen that even more so, more significantly in the last few years. I mean, home prices have shot up like crazy. So yeah, markets do fluctuate. Sometimes they're going to return. You'll see more price appreciation. Sometimes you'll see prices decline. But if you're investing for a longer term perspective, good chance that your house is going to appreciate in value. And that's just another way that you can build wealth. The third way has to do with the stability of housing costs. If you get into a fixed rate mortgage, then you know what your payment is going to be for the next 30 years. If you're locked in at a good rate, you know what it's going to be. And that's one of the main reasons that people aren't moving. If they were to move, even if they were to buy a similar house, their mortgage payment would increase quite drastically just because of the current interest rate. So having that is a type of protection, right? You know what you're going to be paying. You know that like rent, unlike rent, it's not going to change at you, right? Their landlord's not going to jack up your prices. You know what you're paying. And it's like the situation of the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. That's always a positive to know what you have to allocate your assets, what you have to allocate your money for. I know that the apartment one of my friends was staying at just went up $300. So the rent was originally $1,000. They moved out, and we later saw that it was listed for $1,300. So it increased, 30% just like that. So having that mortgage that fixed rate mortgage, that fixed payment is huge. It's extremely beneficial. The last point that I want to talk about here is long-term stability. Home ownership provides a sense of security in the long run, especially when we think about the later years when you have more equity in the house. I mean, I brought it up before. I brought it up plenty. But the thought of not having a mortgage payment is huge, right? That's freeing. You talked about having that fixed rate mortgage. Now imagine if the fixed payment was zero, right? That's a possibility. You're able to get to that point if you work for it. So again, I think that's awesome. Just owning something outright, having that peace of mind is an amazing possibility. Oh, I take it back. There's one more point that I want to talk about, and it's kind of related to the appreciation. Real estate is ultimately an investment, right? That's what I'm talking about. It helps you build wealth. And with that, it's a type of diversification. Owning real estate is, again, not just about having a place to live. It's literally owning a property. It's a diversification in your investment portfolio. So there's a good chance you own stocks. There's a good chance you have money in cash set aside, a retirement account maybe. Real estate behaves a little bit more independently. It's not directly related to the stock market. It's kind of its own thing. So it's another type of diversification, and it again is going to appreciate in value, and it's going to provide a cushion for ups and downs, whatever we may see with changes in the market. So that's really all I have for you today. Those are 5 reasons why real estate is a great investment from a wealth perspective. I would be happy to help you build wealth. I would be happy to help you get into a place of your own. I want you to be a homeowner. So let's talk about how we can make that happen. Feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text, and we can get started with that process. Thank you again for listening to this episode. I hope it was encouraging. That was my whole point, right? There are some challenges right now, but we can work through them and ultimately start building wealth. We can have that diversification. We can have that appreciation. We can have that stability. That's what we're striving for. So even though it's tough right now, stay encouraged. Your time will come. You will find a place that you can call home. So with that being said, thank you for listening to this episode. Take care and have a great week.